Honestly, this lifestyle is so glamorized, but it really is not for the weak. There are so many amazing benefits to being a digital nomad and working remotely, but these are 10 things that I wish I knew before becoming a digital nomad. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. I'd love if you hit subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below, introduce yourself. Welcome. I make a lot of videos on being a digital nomad, travel, mindset, and I'm living in Austin, Texas, so I'm making quite a few videos on Austin right now as well. But in this video, I want to share 10 things that I wish I knew before becoming a digital nomad. I have been a digital nomad in several different capacities over the past 7 or 8 years, and I absolutely love it for so many reasons, but there are some things that are not the best, and I have found ways to get around them and make my lifestyle work, and I love what I've created for my life now. But these are some things that I think people look over, don't consider before becoming a digital nomad that I want to bring to your attention. Let me know in the comments if you're a digital nomad and you've experienced any of these things, because it has definitely affected me in the past. But through all my trial and error, I've honestly figured out the perfect formula for becoming a digital nomad and how to kind of skip over all of those awkward moments, those growth moments at the beginning of your journey. But I made a course and it is coming out very soon. You can join the waitlist. The link is down below in the description and you'll get 50% off if you join that. So make sure you do, even if you're just interested. Number one is difficulty with work-life balance. At the end of the day, you're traveling, but you are still working, and that's where people get confused because they think, oh, I can hop from city to city or country to country even while working my job because I can work from anywhere. That is not the case. You will burn out very quickly. Travel burnout is very prevalent among the digital nomad community and just travelers in general, because you are in different situations and that affects your nervous system, that affects your mental health, that affects your physical well-being. So imagine how hard it is to just get 8 hours of work or whatever your job is done, staying at home and in a routine. Then you have all that stress of traveling. So it's really important to find that work-life balance for you, which is why slow travel has become such a huge thing lately. And I am a huge fan of slow travel. I can make a separate video on that. If you're interested, let me know. But work-life balance is a struggle at times. Second thing is lack of stability. Being a digital nomad can be very promising and you can have some stability, especially now with remote work since COVID and all of those things. But if you're moving a lot, if you are an entrepreneur or a freelancer and you're working different jobs, different time zones, there is a lack of stability and that is a risk that you are taking. And then of course, there's this lack of stability in your living situation, your routine, all of those things can really take a toll on you. So it's really important to find practices that help you ground and maintain that stability. For me, I personally have certain things that I do. It's almost like it is my morning ritual. Like I meditate with my rapé and I work out and I drink my tea and I journal, and I need to do that every morning to ground myself, and it really helps me mentally center myself. And then also stability among my work and my life and everything. I really make sure that I'm writing down what I need to do. I actually have a full-time VA. If you have questions about that, let me know, but I go through this company and I can actually get you a discount if you're interested, because it has changed my life to say the least, to have support like that. But if you're doing it all on your own, it can be difficult. Finding that stability and finding what you need and taking those practices with you is really crucial. Third thing is loneliness. Of course, being a digital nomad, you are traveling usually by yourself. If you're not with a friend or a partner, meeting people can be difficult, especially if you're working a lot or if you're in a new country and the cultural differences are different, which is another point that I will get into soon. But loneliness among expats and digital nomads is actually quite high. That is something that you may face as a digital nomad. Number 4 is limited access to reliable internet. I am laughing because I've been making YouTube videos for a long time. Check out my Mexico playlist from when I was living in Mexico as a digital nomad working full-time for my corporate job. There were hurricanes. My apartment Wi-Fi just did not work ever when I was living in Tulum. So I was literally at 7 in the morning running around the dirt roads of Tulum with my laptop in my arm and my headset, just trying to find Wi-Fi almost every day. So please be sure that you have stable Wi-Fi, or if your work is more flexible, that will help. Mine was not, so that was a really big struggle, but that is something that you could face. To get over this, I suggest trying to look for Google Fiber and making sure if you're booking an Airbnb or an accommodation that they really do ensure that there is stable Wi-Fi. And if there isn't, you can try and get a refund or something prior to arriving. Number 5 is health risks. Traveling, of course, comes with health risks because you're eating different food. You can get injured. You can fall off a moto. That happened to my friend recently in Vietnam. I feel so bad for her. It's so scary. So definitely be aware of those risks. I did get sick while I was traveling multiple times. I use Digital Nomad health insurance with Safety Wing. They are amazing and they make insurance, especially for digital nomads. I will leave a link down below. I think you can get a little discount with that link, but that's the one that I use. And I think it's really important to be proactive about your safety and your health because you never know what can happen. And yeah, you don't want to end up in a foreign country having to work and then also having a sickness or an injury. Trust me, I've been there and it's horrible. Number 6 is cultural barriers. Like I said before, sometimes it's not easy to make friends and sometimes people aren't as warm and welcoming as you expect them to be. I've experienced this many times when I was living in Spain. I moved there by myself after college to teach English and I did have a really hard time making friends for the first few weeks. It was very isolating. I felt really down. That goes in with loneliness and it's just the culture. Like it's easier to be close friends with people once you get into the group, but it's harder at first. And I am very adaptable. I'm a third culture kid. I grew up all over the world, so I'm very aware of cultural differences and how to adapt to them. But if you are not a traveler or if you're not well versed in traveling or being a digital nomad, this can really come as a shock. So be sure you are aware of that and you're studying the country that you're going to prior to arriving, so you know if there will be kind of that friction at the beginning. Number 7 is expenses. Yes, living outside the US, cost of living is typically cheaper than the US depending on what country you are in. But when you are traveling and you don't have that stability, like I mentioned before, expenses can add up. You might be in this mindset of, oh, I'm traveling and it's cheaper here. Let me just eat out all the time and let me splurge a little here because you feel like you're on vacation, but you're really just living. So it's really important to be cognizant of your spending, track your budget, know when to use like credit cards, make sure you're using credit cards responsibly and you're earning points and you're investing your money still. Like the point of being a digital nomad isn't so you can just travel and work and burn your money. For me and what I try to really vocalize and assert is that you should be still growing your career, your wealth, your well-being, your personal development, all of these things while you're living this lifestyle. You shouldn't let those things go because you're not just going on a trip for a few weeks. You are living this lifestyle. So you need to make sure it's sustainable and you are becoming a better person and financially responsible while you're doing it. Number 8 is difficulty in building long-lasting relationships. This is something that a lot of people don't realize the first year or two that they are digital nomading because they're in that euphoria phase. But after doing it for several years, you do realize that you don't have those deep-rooted friendships as easily. It's still possible. I have so many friends that I consider my best and closest friends that are living in all different parts of the world, and I know that I can pick up the phone and call them and we just pick up where we left off and everything's good. But if you don't put that effort into those relationships, or if you aren't really one of those people who is good at keeping those connections, it can be a rude awakening after being a digital nomad for several years when you are alone and you're a bit older and you maybe want to start having a family or settling down. It's really important to be cognizant of that as you're going throughout your digital nomad journey. Number 9 is lack of personal space. So this really varies on how you are traveling. Of course, there's so many different traveling styles, and I talk about these in my course because I think it's so important to understand yourself and how you travel best, because some people are extroverts and they can be in hostels and the noise and the people and the energies don't affect them. And I used to be like that when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I know I need my personal space. Like I need time to myself. I need to function properly, to be with my thoughts, to work. If you are working, especially if you're working remotely for a company, it is important to have a proper workspace. Be aware that if you are trying to travel on a really tight budget, you will have to stay in hostels or you will have to stay in cheaper places, which might result in you not having a lot of that room to yourself. So know what your travel expenses are, your budget, and what you can really put up with long term. Because maybe you can do the hostel thing and you think you'll be fine, but after a couple weeks, you are just so burnt out. So be aware of where you are and think long term when it comes to the way that you travel, not just in the first few weeks. And last but not least, number 10 is establishing a routine. This is something that can be extremely difficult if you are moving, if you're working. All of these things can cause you to fall off of your routine. And maybe you're still working out and eating like pretty healthy, but over time, those little things add up and it can really affect your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, which is so important to me. Like my content and what I make and how I feel, you need to put your well-being and yourself first in all these situations to ensure that you are the best version of yourself and you're feeling your best, because there's no point in traveling and going on these beautiful trips when you're not feeling good inside. So establishing a routine can be difficult, but it's not possible. When I move to places, I love joining gyms. I love figuring out where the yoga studios are, working out, going for runs, making sure that that is an essential and fundamental part of my everyday. And going grocery shopping is so important to me. I've done many grocery store hauls from when I'm living in different places, and then of course taking time to myself and making sure that I am productive in my work as well. And I'm going to make another video about productivity tips for digital nomads, because that is something that I kind of struggled with in the past, but I've found proper systems that have really helped me with that, and I think they can help you as well. But if you have any questions, I'd love to hear your story about being a digital nomad, or if any of these have affected you, in the comments down below, because I want this to be a community for people who are living this lifestyle, because I know it can be lonely and I want us to support each other and give each other tips. So let me know and I will answer them below. But thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. Give it a big thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already, connect with me on Instagram and TikTok, and of course my course is coming out, so sign up for the waitlist so you don't miss the launch. I'm so excited for this. It's not only a course on becoming a digital nomad, it teaches you all of the logistics and the hard skills, but it also is about learning about yourself and how you function best and what kind of lifestyle is best and most sustainable for you as well. But yeah, thank you again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.